Hello, all of you wonderful Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide fans. My name is Gar, and I am going to be one of your wonderful commentators for this fantastic race between SabreWolf and medes24. And tonight, I am joined in the booth by Retrophile TV. Retro, how is it going?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Gar. Glad to be on SpeedGaming and looking forward to this match tonight for Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, Lagomorph Lounge. I'm very, very excited for this one.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to be a treat for everybody who is familiar with the Lagomorph Lounge. And if you're not, I mean, it's still going to be a treat, but I have to explain some things first. So, right now, the Worlds Collide community has an event called Setzer's Blackjack Battle Royale. And basically, the idea behind that is that we've got groups of 5 players, each with their own individual flags. And each week, a table gets eliminated from contention and gets sent down to the Lagomorph Lounge, where each week they're given the opportunity to add new flags to the seed. So we have some really cool ones for you tonight. One of the big ones is that this is going to be an open world seed. So normally in Worlds Collide, you have to do character checks or checks associated with a character in order to earn progression items like more characters or espers. But in this case, our players are free to go wherever they want in the world right from the get-go. So going to lead to a lot of divergent routes, hopefully. And it ought to be really exciting to watch. What do you think, Retro?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of options here. We're going to see that route divergence like right out of the gate because I can't imagine they're going to be doing the same things. There's also some other fun surprises along the way here we'll talk about once we get things rolling right now. I know we're trying to get the back-end race set up. We appreciate everyone here hanging out and the patience, by the way, but we promise there'll be a nice race here in store for us.
Our racers have been giving the 1-minute warning, so we should be seeing them rocket out of here in just a moment.
At this point, with it being open world, I'm very curious to see where they go and what they opt to do here. One thing I should point out is that these are scaled chests as one of the flags that we have here. So as they open more and more chests, they'll get better and better loot as they go. And there are plenty of options out there in the world for them to get large amounts of treasure chests very, very quickly right out the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not be too terribly surprised if both of our runners start with, going for terrorist checks, for example. Because even if you don't have her, you can still go into the the Imperial camp and loot the treasury there.
And then you have the attached sealed cave to go through on that one. A few more chests to get through. You got a bunch of big caches with the Turner's hideout, South Figaro, Narsh. I mean, there's plenty of places they can go to at this point. But I'm very curious to see. But let's talk about some other major things we got going on here. We don't have black magic. We don't have gray magic. Only white magic can be learned here because of some of the cards that were pulled in the previous week at this point. So they're going to have to rely on espers, which have multi-summon. They can be used multiple times in battle, and also the commands of the characters themselves here, which I think we're starting with Gogo and Locke today.
Gogo, Locke, and Setzer, it looks like.
Very nice.
So our characters are locked in at least for this set of flags, and our racers are off. And we do in fact see that Setzer Locke Go-Go combo, and it looks like Medes is heading straight for the World of Ruin Narsh, going to go pick up the potential Esper item there, in addition to a Cursed Shield. One of the... Go ahead.
I'll say that the Cursed Shield on this one here, there's Cecil's Delight that is currently in play at this point, which is going to have the Cursed Shield is going to have between 1 to 8 fights to turn into a Paladin Shield. So pretty much nice to get that out of the gate, but also you can find Paladin Shield throughout the run as well, so that they're going to have that in their back pocket to work with. But you can grab one there for free from the armor shop in World of Ruin Narsh.
Yeah, absolutely. Paladin Shields being the most powerful shield in Worlds Collide. It absorbs 4 elements: fire, ice, lightning, and pearl, and nullifies the other 4. So obviously very, very powerful. And if we get
here we have Metis going right now to see how many it's going to be.
Just a 1.
that's a no-brainer, man. Just go do it now and to get it uncursed.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So SabreWolf, I expect will go and do that right after he is finished looting there.
And Metis getting a Minerva, the choice from the old man in the old weapon shop there, Magus Rod or Minerva, opting for the Minerva. So we're getting a lot of protection here out of the gate in World of Ruin Narsh.
Yeah, very, very, very powerful opening start. Wish I could get more of these in my seeds.
Right, you are, Gar. But
so,
interesting to see. Go ahead.
Yeah, just the first 10 or so minutes of any given Worlds Collide seed is going to be filled with looting. You see Medes kind of making some of these NPCs disappear. That's because of our Y remove flag, which has been enabled for this flag set. So in a character gated flag set, this flag would be a little bit more impactful just because it would let them get into places like the Magitech facility by deleting one of the NPCs that is normally blocking the way. But
it's also a nice annoyance eraser too. We've all had those nagging NPCs that kind of block our way. We'll just delete them.
Oh yeah, the Returner's Hideout guy is my nemesis.
It's very cathartic and therapeutic. But here we are. So it looks like SabreWolf, though, checking the monster in a box in the Narsh beginner hut. It's going to be all over, folks, on that one. That's a freebie to take down. Get some Tiger Fangs for that. Whereas we have Metis right now in the World of Ruin. Albrook, yeah, there we go. Just deleting people as he goes, collecting some of those scaled chests, trying to get those high rewards. With no black magic and gray magic available, and only white magic here, Gar, what do you think that the main meta for the Lagomorph Lounge table is? Is it you gearing up? Like, what do you kind of lean on? Do you multi-summon? What's the move here?
I would say it kind of depends. Multi-summon, if you find something like Bahamut, obviously that's going to be very, very powerful, if a little bit MP hungry. So, for the most part, in this situation, I'm going to be looking for basically big glowing sticks. I want my Ragnaroks, I want my Illuminas, I want my fixed dice, which, I mean, I guess that isn't a big glowing stick, but it's close enough.
It might as well be. But hey, those stat sticks, though, they're very powerful throughout this. I guess we should also note here that they have toy shops available and a wealthy start. So they start with $100,000 in their pocket. You know, Setzer, being very benevolent, has won very big at the tables, and able to have that spending cash right out of the gate is very, very handy.
SabreWolf finding earrings in a shop and pulled a hero ring out of a pot in World of Ruin, South Figaro. Very, very powerful relic, that one. It's a 25% boost to both your physical and your magic damage. So earrings, hero rings, very, very popular choices for relics here.
Right, you are, Gar. I mean, hands down, we know at this point that magic power is pretty much busted in Final Fantasy VI, but hey, we don't have that black magic to work with, but we do have the Espers, we do have abilities that do rely upon magic power for that damage, so definitely going to have that worth that's there, but we're going to have to think a little bit differently with how we approach things because of that limitation. So hoping for those powerful Espers out of the gate, and trying to gear up as best as we possibly can. Maybe we'll see some offering strats later on, we'll see what happens.
I would personally love to see offering fixed dice and have some high rolls with those fixed dice. Unfortunately, because Setzer likes to gamble, the fixed dice can roll anywhere from triple ones, which is double-digit damage, to all sixes, which is quad nines, and basically anywhere in between. So. Very, very frustrating weapon, I would say. It doesn't work whenever you need it to, but also potentially very, very powerful because it ignores defense and it always hits.
Right, you are. Yeah, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows with that one, and just riding the roller coaster of emotion, and sometimes you're just kind of waiting for the dice rolls to finish up. If you have that offering, stop, they're already dead. At that point, because the enemies, they don't die at that point. They will keep taking the damage until it's completely over. So overkill is definitely a very big thing with that, and maybe a little bit on the slow side. But hey, Gar, we should probably mention here real quick that there are some other things that are a little bit out of the ordinary with this seed. As far as scaling goes, if you guys look at the bottom there, this is not a 6/9. This is an 8/12 Far Horizon seed. So we need 8 characters and 12 Espers, or 12 pieces of Magicite. It looks like we just had someone peek Celis at this one. Didn't see what that one was on SabreWolf.
That was a Golem Esper, so.
Very nice. But anyway, 8 and 12, so we got our first piece of Magicite for it at this point, but we're going to need that to get to KT. There's also boss skip. If they fight 12 unique bosses, they can skip right to the statues, skipping that first fight in there and just going right to it. And also we have tough scaling. And what does that mean there, Gar?
So, tough scaling. It means that the scaling will be tough.
Nice, love it. Fantastic. Well played, sir. Alley-oop. Okay.
Yeah, no. Okay, so what tough scaling means is that for every character that you recruit, for every Esper that you acquire, for every dragon that you kill, enemies and bosses are going to go up 2.5 levels. In addition, their HP and MP is going to go up 2.5 levels. And their EXP and GP earned is going to go up 2 levels. And all of this scaling is going to go up to level 50 for the enemies. So what that means is that it's possible if you do enough what we call free checks, in other words, checks that can reward progression items, but that you don't have to like fight a boss or go through a sequence of enemies to get. Getting a bunch of those before doing checks is potentially very dangerous because it means that the enemies will be capable of killing you and you will not be capable of killing them.
Definitely going to be very strange to see how they handle that as we go. But with it being far horizon, where we have to do a lot of work here, we're probably going to get close to that scaling cap, or stay within it by the end of this year. So we're going to have some very powerful characters for the final climb as we go into KT.
That is one of the benefits of a Far Horizon seed. It does take longer, but at the end of it, your characters are going to be very high level, and they should have a pretty sizable inventory behind them to help carry them through a lot of these fights. So one of the objectives in this flag set is to kill 2 dragons, and if you do so, you get a Dragoon set, and that consists of the relic Dragoon Boots, which enables you to jump, the Dragon Horn, which lets you jump multiple times per jump command input, and a spear.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off here, but Metis now going to do the Coliseum check for the fighter's gambit to get that plus 20 vigor. Heavy shields are going for Illuminas. That is a shown comparison right there. So if he can take down this Tap Dancer, he gets himself a nice stat stick for a very much inferior shield.
Yeah, absolutely. So great find there by Medes. Tap Dancers are scary, but I don't believe that Medes has done any kind of scaling checks. So that is going to be a level 5.5 or 6-ish Tap Dancer.
He did grab the golem there, and also, I mean, we're starting with 3 characters out of the gate here, to my knowledge. I'm not sure how far the scaling goes off of the starting things, but we do know at least he's gotten 1 piece of Magicite.
Okay. I didn't see him grab golem, so that's why I'm glad I have you around, Retro.
Happy to be here, Gar.
Covering my back.
I got you, fam. But anyway, this fight going a little bit longer than intended because Tap Dancer decided to slow things down here, but she has run out of MP. And on the left side here, we're seeing SabreWolf raiding all of the treasure chests here. This is usually blocked by Terra. This is the sealed gate. It's the Imperial outpost that they have here on the way. But this Tap Dancer fight, unfortunately, Meta's stuck here, but we'll get an Illumina for their troubles if they can make it through here. Oh, very good block there, too.
Yeah, that way shakes. That's confused. Very, very dangerous.
I mean, Locke's doing half decent damage here. Nice crit, and there it is. A heavy shield for an Illumina, and that plus 20 vigor on top of it. So we're going to be slapping pretty good here soon.
Oh, and Magpow as well. So yeah, phenomenal find there. I wonder how deeply Medes is going to look for more heavy shields, because if you find them in a shop, you trade them in for Illuminas.
Instantly goes back to it looking to search for it, so opting not to go for it at this point, but getting 1 stat stick to start, and we'll have to see what's waiting at the end of the road here for SabreWolf and see if they'll get some progression.
And speaking of SabreWolf showing off one of the hidden chests in here, Famously, I don't think any of these chests actually contain the things that they said, or that the text box says that they contain. So, for example, he went up one of the little outcroppings there and picked up what was 2,000 gold. I don't think it's actually 2,000 gold. I think it's like 200 something, but showing that off, just showing off that knowledge of the game, I think is very cool.
Okay, it looks like we're in collision right now for Metis. I don't know if he stopped off there. I'm looking at his tracker to see if we got anything new. And what do we have at the sealed gates? That is a Yeti.
It's a Yeti.
Like. Very good. So Yeti is a bit of a unique character, a bit of a wild card, one might say.
He is auto-berserked, which honestly, a lot of the time it's less bad than that sounds. He is generally very, very powerful, especially in the early part of the seed. And if Medes decides to go into the Imperial camp and then through the sealed gate, he can use Umaro because the only thing that he knows how to do is fight. He can use him in the Colosseum.
Which is definitely, it's what he's built for, hands down. And he comes in with a built-in snow muffler as well. He has a very fanciful scarf to begin with that gives him a very, very high physical defense and also absorbing of the ice element, I believe.
Yes, indeed. Absorbs ice, halves fire. And honestly, towards the end of the game, that's basically all that the Yeti is good for. But at the start, he is a big meat shield, and he does big meat damage.
It's a great way of putting it there, Gar. I like that. Very artful.
Gotta have fun with it, you know. Speaking of having fun, I know that SabreWolf is going to enjoy this, but how do you feel about Dave Mira?
About Dave Mira, cue Futurama here. I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we'll get you inundated into the Dave Mira culture.
I didn't sign up for this, Gar.
Medes heading into the South Figaro cave. This is one of Locke's checks normally, so I'm gonna see what the boss is here, and it is tunnel armor.
Oh, there we go. Do we have vanilla bosses here? I think we have vanilla bosses on the table for Lagomorph Lounge.
We do have vanilla bosses. That is correct. So this is normally where you would fight tunnel armor. So what that also means is that the statue bosses, that's Poltergeist, Doom, and the Goddess, are also going to be in their respective locations inside of Kefka's tower. Excuse me. They are shuffled though, they will not be in their original spots. However, they'll be shuffled amongst each other. So potentially very dangerous at the end of this seed, but we will see how they deal with it when that time comes.
And it looks like picking up Tritok on Metis' side there from beating that tunnel armor, so that puts them up to 2 from what I can tell. Tritok's a bit of an interesting Esper though with that multi-summon. He's tri-elemental, which, you know, it sounds really great, but when you realize that if one of those elements are negated, it negates the whole thing. So Tritok is not as exciting to find as, say, Bahamut, which is non-elemental, and you can just spam that all day, and you got yourself, you know, kind of a cheap Ultima in a way.
That's right, Retro. And now Medes is in the Esper Mountain and is going to fight Ultros 3 here. So a little bit of an odd choice, I would say. Ultros 3 doesn't give any magic points, so he will not learn any spells from this, but should be pretty easy to take down with that Tritok summon.
3.3k, that's pretty nice, and everyone's going to be summoning it. Or there's the Mimic from Gogo, using Gogo's Mimic ability there. Very, very nice.
And yeah, down it goes.
Very clean. Let's see what the reward is for that one. Fixed dice? Is that what I saw there?
That was a flame shield.
Ah, flame. I just saw the F there, but that is a dead check, my friends. I got excited. Sorry, Gar. You had subconsciously placed that in my mind that we're going to be seeing that today.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. One thing I will comment about, it looks like that Metis he's digging in into just kind of completing checks at this point, whereas we've seen Sabre really go deep into scaled chest farming and really going to a lot of the main spots, pulling things from Thamasa, both South Figaros, going out to the sealed gates and doing all of those as well. So very much pushing that all the way, kind of gearing up and getting ready to roll. Whereas at this point, Medes is like, hey, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good at this point, and we're going to get going with that Minerva, and I'm ready to do this. And getting that Illumina from the Coliseum, that was a great find out of the gate.
Oh, yeah. So Medes obviously very powerful right now with that Illumina, with that Minerva, with that Flame Shield as well. So it's a little bit... I don't even know if I would say it's more disappointing than Fixed Dice. I like Flame Shields. If Merton Strats ever come online, then Flame Shields are awesome. But yeah, very, very powerful. So I totally understand Medes just jamming checks here. Plus, with that 12 boss skip on the line, no reason not to do it, especially when you get to face off against the Daddy Luma himself.
Now, I thought we could actually delete, since we have that Y NPC killer. Oh, hey, there's some Magicite there at Figaro there for SabreWolf. But I actually thought that he would actually delete Dottaluma there. I thought you possibly could just to walk up there, but I guess he's just going to take that for the experience possibly. Oh, wait, no, the boss skip. That's what we're looking for. 12 unique bosses.
Yeah. You can delete him. That's one of the bosses that you can delete without having a negative effect on the game. One of the other ones being the boss at the end of the floating continent check. But in this case, it's very easy. He gets an Esper for his troubles. Looks like that's Alexander.
So that puts his total up to 3 then. Golem, Tritok, and Alexander. Alexander is Pearl-based damage on that one, which... I don't know about you, Gar. I'm very disappointed by Pearl damage. It seems like all the bosses I want to use it on absorb Pearl for some reason.
Strange bosses, too, like Rexol.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You would think that Pearl would, be nasty towards him, but no. He absorbs it.
Looks like SabreWolf giving the Yeti a fanciful circlet. He's feeling very pretty to get out there, using that Rage Ring and the Atlas Armlet. So we're gonna see that the Yeti start eating people, which I'm looking forward for that.
Yeah, Rage Ring, very, very powerful on the Yeti. Provides what is that? Fire absorption, ice nullification, or lightning nullification? I can never remember.
It's one of those. It definitely it's a nice addition on top of the Snow Muffler. And hey, look at this. SabreWolf also stumbling into the Coliseum and doing the heavy shield strats, trying to get that Illumina, but putting out the beefy boy himself to take care of business.
So here we're really looking for some body slams out of Umaro. With that Rage Ring, what it lets him do is throw characters towards an enemy to have them deal damage. That damage ignores defense, and bonus, if that character is confused or asleep, it will break them out of those statuses, and Umaro will prefer to throw those types of characters.
Hey, he just wants to lend a helping hand.
And I love him for it. It's too bad that ultimately we're going to strip him of his hide and relegate him to airship pilot.
Wow, that I don't know if I believe that's a really smart idea to have him just be the pilot. But you know what? Look, I'm sure he
go wrong.
Yeah, what could go wrong possibly? He's down to 80 health here. Rizapas going down on the falls with the time lost piranhas that Medes has. We'll see if we get a character or something else from that. But
time lost piranhas, I love it.
There it is, the plus 20 for both for completing that Coliseum check for SabreWolf and Illumina in their pocket as well.
So I see a Genji armor in addition to that Minerva in SabreWolf's inventory. So Genji armor, again, not the best one, but definitely serviceable. And a Raiden Esper for Medes.
Pushing them up to 4 at this point, so making some nice progress on that, but they could definitely use some characters at this point, I'm sure.
I just saw something that could be traded in for a Genji glove. No, scroll back up. Yeah, there it is. So you can trade it in Orlands for a Genji glove, and that's very interesting because dual wielding Illuminas is one of the most powerful things that you can do in this game.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not something like an eye drop that you're trading for. An Aura Lance has some purpose, especially with that Dragon's Raiment on the table. If you kill 2 dragons, and that's gonna be your best damage option from that, because using spears adds that additional damage bonus for it when you use them. So we have some options here. I can see his hesitation of not doing that.
Lunar Chimera in chat asking what was the reward from Piranhas? The reward was the Raiden Esper, and Medes now at the Phantom Train picked up the Ragnarok Esper at the back.
Very nice. You don't really see a lot of metamorph strats, during Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide at this point. I'm kind of curious if there's something there with multi-summon on the table.
With some enemies, some of the transformations are actually very interesting. You can get elemental shields from some of them. One of them can be an EXP egg normally. In this particular case, the vegan option was selected, so EXP eggs will not appear let me read the thing.
I want to just pull this out here. The train's got some beefy security this time around, it looks like, that we're trying to work our way through.
Yeah, with that Scullion. So Scullions, very beefy enemies, but they also give a nice chunk of EXP, so hard to hate.
And as we mentioned earlier, friends, this is a friendly reminder that the Espers here will not teach black magic or gray magic, so all the Espers here will have white magic across the board. So, I mean, we'll be pretty well stocked when we get to KT. With plenty of revival and healing abilities to work with, which is kind of nice, but you definitely want to kind of beef up those multi-summons, get your melee damage in. Both of them have completed the Colosseum, so we definitely have more firepower in our pocket to work with. Looks like SabreWolf going to the Doma Defense. This is normally a Cyan-gated check. Again, open world at play. Let's see who is attacking. Oh, that's right, it's vanilla, so this is nice and easy.
Yeah, leader, absolutely not a threat under any circumstances. Well, I take that back. There are some circumstances where he could be very rude. So he's got a counterattack called Axe, and Axe is basically just a giant multiplier on top of his base damage. So there are some settings that you can have in Worlds Collide where that Axe will do double a character's maximum HP. And it is very terrifying in those instances. But here, not quite so much.
It looks like we find Gigantos in first class on the Ghost Train here. To my knowledge, provides the highest amount of XP per singular enemy, if that's correct.
That is correct. So very good find here by Medes. You can find packs where there are 2 Gigantoses, which is basically the gold mine. It does not happen very often, but it can happen.
I once had a seed that was burning house with all of them as the flame packs, and that was a wonderful, beautiful thing. I walked in there like level 10, walked out like level 40. Just something just real silly. But at the Doma Defense, it looks like that SabreWolf got a Thunder Shield, so that's a dead check, albeit a very nice shield to have, but a dead check nonetheless.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like SabreWolf is following in Medes' footsteps and going into the South Figaro Cave, going to take on the Tunnel Armor here and pick up... Oh, what was here?
Test your memory here. What was it? It was a Magicite.
It was a Magicite? Okay, cool.
It was a Magicite, yes.
I just don't remember which one it was.
If my memory serves, I think it was Tritok. It's either Tritok or Alexander, because that was the second or third one that we had received earlier.
Yeah, if you test my memory, Retro, I'll just fail. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that straight up.
We know Raiden was at the falls. Ragnarok was riding on the train itself. So I'm thinking Tritok, because we got Golem in South Figaro at this point. So yeah, I think it's Tritok through process of elimination. Let's see if the big brain works.
And I think you're right.
But now's a good time, friends, just to kind of call this out. This is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide for those that haven't seen this. ff6worldscollide.com. Please join our wonderful community in Discord. Blackjack Battle Royale is one of the many events that happens throughout the year, and this is a very unique one. I very much enjoyed this. We're week 3 right now in the table stages, so We're going to have the finals, the table finals coming up next week for each of those. And then we move on to the final table. And then, you know, the stakes really increase. But Lagomorph Lounge, they got here because they got eliminated from their tables, but they're fighting for their chance for that buy-in for the final table. So if you do well enough within this stage against all your other competitors, you can get yourself some GP and buy your way into that final table. So curious to see how things go. So they want to go as fast as possible. Even if they're just facing each other for the showcase purpose, they're hoping to have that high-ranking time to bop a bunch of other folks and get some cash.
Yes, indeed. You might be down, but you're never out when it comes to the Blackjack Battle Royale. So if you like what you see, like Retro said, head on over to ff6worldscollide.com. You can roll seeds there. We've got links to our Discord. And honestly, we would love to have you. This is a great community. There's a lot of love and support being poured into the game just every single day. And I could not be more proud to be a part of such an amazing group of people.
It is a great time. All right, so it looks like we got Medes climbing up on Mount Colts. This is usually a Sabin-gated check, or Sabin, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And he's going to go there and hang out with Vargas and the two bears.
And SabreWolf making a similar climb up the Narsh Cliffs. We get a peek, and we see Terra in the Yeti Cave, so we can go ahead and pick him up if we decide to do a flip to the World of Ruin and climb the cliffs there.
Might be a good move. I mean, we're going for those 8 characters. You're going to find Magicite a lot easier than you're going to find characters at the point, given the limited pool that we have to work with. So if you know it's a sure thing, you might as well go check. It's pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And also maybe the move along the way, do you kill the dragon that's in the fields of Worlds of Ruin of Narsh and add that to your list and try to get that Dragoon raiment too in the process?
Oh, SabreWolf getting the Gru there out of the whelp, so a little unfortunate. Gonna get some counterattacks here from the whelk shell.
I mean, the Yeti is just, he's really excited. He just wants to attack whenever he gets the chance. He doesn't really understand strategy too well.
All he knows is bop.
The best is when he yeets someone from, like, just right into the shell at that point. Like, he's like, hey, look, I'm helping. I do good. I do good.
Medes grabbing a Zone Seacaster out of Mount Colts there.
Up to 5, getting close to the halfway point for Magicite. So again, Far Horizon, I mean, it definitely is a bit of a slog to get there compared to the 6-character 9 Esper, but you're going to be nice and beefy going into KT at that point, so that's kind of nice. And also, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that boss skip with the 12 unique bosses, so you're not even going to have to worry about it. Nice and quick.
Medes finding Grandpa in the Collingen Inn. That is Strago there. I did not see the ability that he had.
I also did not catch that, unfortunately. I also did not see what the Welk check was for... Oh, he's going to get that Magus Rod, though, that he had left behind. That is it's a holdover from the old man in World of Ruin weapon shop in Narsh, where we chose the Minerva. You can get that Magus Rod behind the Welk in World of Balance.
Just double checking SabreWolf's stream there. Looks like it was some manner of dead check. He is still at 4 characters and 3 Espers.
It's unfortunate. It seems like everyone that he's pulling here that seem to be shorter checks is having some difficulty, whereas it looks like Medes is not having much difficulty at all making progress. Looks like going up to say hello to Lone Wolf and see what he's got for us.
Just a merchant.
Yeah, just gonna hang out and they have a little staring contest for a couple of seconds, and then they for whatever reason they both kind of throw themselves off to the side. Very dramatic.
Oh, Atma weapon is what Lone Wolf is holding on to, so that's very interesting. No offering found as of yet, but Atma weapon a very, very good weapon for the end game here.
Looks like another potential dead check there for SabreWolf, but let's see. Kefka at Narsh time? Yeah, I think so.
You're already here, might as well.
They've had a pretty bad run of it, though. I got to say, that's like, what, 3 dead checks in a row now? Because they did Dome of Defense, they did Welk, and now they did Lone Wolf, and all of them were
All of them
dead,
are dead.
dead items at this point. So that's 3 in a row. Will this be the 4-hit combo?
I really hope not. I know how demoralizing it can be when you just run into dead check after dead check.
Now, with Kefka at Narsh, I remember playing this casually as a kid, and like, oh man, it felt like such a huge epic battle, and then you realize you can stand in certain spots. I'm curious to see if Sabre's gonna go for that fast strat, where you stand in the middle and then you're able to walk down there and actually just able to kind of like sidestep the guard and just get right there. Let's see how he handles it.
Yeah, so in the vanilla game, that would not be possible because the sprint shoes are disabled here. But in Wolves Collide, we don't believe in that. We believe in sprint shoe all the time, everywhere. So he does not go for the fast skip. He'll just go for... This is basically the vanilla version. You hide out here until that brown soldier passes.
Got that sure thing. Very good. So it's gonna be a pretty straightforward fight. Kefka, just do a little bit of damage. He runs away, and we'll see what we get for our reward on this one. Looks like Medes marching up as well. Gonna be following in the footsteps of Sabre, and we'll see what they're gonna get on their side. And they're peeking, and we do see Terra at Umaro. And look at this. We have Bahamut.
So the triple bar out of go-go slots there. Very cool.
Now, is that my slot knowledge here is a bit lacking. That's not just straight Magicite. That's guaranteed to be Mega Flare then coming off that. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct. Yes. Triple bar is always Bahamut. It's triple. What's the gray one? What's the shape? I don't know the shape. That's the random summon.
Well, it looks like that Sabre is now up to 4 and 4 from what I'm seeing. So it looks like getting some Magicite finally.
Oh, Lunar Chimera in the chat point correcting me. The triple bar is just a random Esper. So SabreWolf just got very, very lucky there. And it's like three birds, I think. That's basically that's
I
that's
know
what
the
gets
ones
you
you're talking
Sunflare.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Hey, talking about some checks and stuff here. This is a newer one, I should say. Well, this is the latest one that was added from previous versions here. This is Moogle defense. This is the lock defense that we have in the beginning here that we're going to, and this is actually a really nice one to chain off of. This the 3 checks we saw Sabre do. We're going to see probably the same thing on Medes' side at this point, because basically once you're done with Kefka and Narsh, you spawn right in Arvis's house after that fight, and if you had Mog, that's where this would be gated, but able to start that right away. And we'll see. He's going to be fighting Leader, and he's going to have those Lobos. So not really that difficult. Curious to see what he's going to get for that. And looks like the item was a gem box that the merchant had on top with the Lone Wolf.
So it is not Lobos. It is it is coverts, excuse me, and they are very, very dangerous. Marshall surprisingly is also very dangerous because he can open up the fight with Net, which just said stop on a character, and his charge attack is a lot like Leader's axe attack. It's basically just a big multiplier on top of his base damage. But it's really his ads that make him so dangerous here. Those coverts can start throwing stuff if they're alive long enough. And these are not the only things that can come along with the Marshal. You can get everything from these coverts to the Ogre enemies to those tap dancers that we saw in the Colosseum. Any number of nasty ones.
He just brought Go-Go back and just gets wiped out by the blaze there. So I completely forgot about the fact that there is a flag that is disabled about having vanilla Lobos on that one here. So let's see what the reward is for doing the Moogle defense. Looks like we have a 5th character.
It is an Edgar.
And he loves to throw money around, it looks like.
Edgar, very interesting here. You put him in the first slot in your party, and you get a discount in both versions of Figaro Castle and in the World of Ruin, South Figaro Town.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. You have to have them in the front of the party because, like, even the text box still pops up in Figaro Castle, but I think you actually have to have them in the front of the crew to actually activate that that sail.
That's right. Yeah.
Kind of wild.
Medes following in SabreWolf's footsteps, going to get his Edgar here.
But all in all, looks like both of them kind of tackling this. They're kind of falling into similar footsteps at this point, in lockstep. Medes had made some earlier decision changes, and has the slight advantage right now with the six Magicite and 4 characters. But SabreWolf having 5 and 4 presently. He's about to get that 5th character that, as we commented about Edgar here in the Moogle check.
Yeah, very, very close. And this is, I think, where we're going to start to see a little bit of route diversions. Both of our razors here are very, very powerful. You can see that we're already starting to break into the 4K HP levels for Medes. So at this point, with Illumina's available to be 1, with that Minerva, with the Flame Shield, with I believe he also picked up the Thunder Shield. A lot's on the table here.
Kind of makes me wonder if you're just gonna, if you look for heavy shields while you're out and about, and like, hey, you know, I can just do a quick fight and get another Illumina. And you had mentioned that Genji glove strat as an idea. We do have that Atma weapon as well on SabreWolf's side, so there's that.
SabreWolf opting to clear shop here. He did see that there are Mega Elixirs in the shop, so I'm wondering if he's going to buy some of those, and it looks like he is not.
Medes wrapping things up and getting Edgar on their side, moving up to 5 characters. So we're making good, tangible progress at this point, and in pretty short order, too, no less.
Yeah, we're only 37 minutes into the seed, and 6 and 5 for Medes, and 4 and 5 for SabreWolf. You know, that's honestly, that's not bad, especially SabreWolf, given just the sheer number of dead checks that you
there was just so much bad luck with that, with trying to put things together. It's got to be very frustrating, even in a Far Horizon seed, even more so.
Medes going to get the free check here for Gal's dad's house. Sees a Sabin there.
Moving them up to 6 people in the band at this point. Just 2 more to go to wrap up the character requirement on Medes' side. I did see Atma Weapon got parked on SabreWolf's side at this point. We know that these characters are going to get real strong real fast, and as the levels get higher, that damage of that Atma Weapon is going to definitely go up and up, assuming that they can keep the HP up as well. But that's going to play a big part in the damage calculation, is the level of the user.
So, Retro, if you're in the situation, let's say you're Medes, you just picked up your 7th Esper, so you're 7 and 6. What checks are you possibly looking to do, given that you can go anywhere in the world?
See, this is why I don't like open world, because it's like I like having that narrow chute of, you know, things that are kind of keeping me aligned, so my mind doesn't have to wander like, oh, what have I not done yet? Well, let's point this out here real fast. They just picked up Sabin. I didn't know if he has Blitz or not. I didn't see what command was offhand, but one thing we didn't mention was the River Mastery check. If you complete the Elite River, you actually get all 8 Blitzes. So if someone's got it, that'd be kind of nice. Again, with no magic abilities, Bum Rush can definitely put in some work at this point. So, I mean, you kind of exhaust all the short checks that you can. You go do like Crumbling House in Zen and World of Ruin and stuff like that. I'm gonna steer clear from Fanatic's Tower, even though that there's a card on the table for Fanatical Knowledge. With the vanilla bosses, we're gonna have Magi Master at the top of that, and vanilla Magi Master is pretty awful to deal with, even though that you can learn all the lores. You know, hooray!
Yeah, without a lore user, there's not really a compelling reason to go and do it, especially just because, like you said, there's so many better checks that you can do.
Hey, look at this. We got our first dragon going down on SabreWolf's side, trying to work toward that dragon's raiment. Now, not a requirement to complete the sea, but also very good.
So we'll see the reward that the dragon gives here. So in Worlds Collide, it'll give both its vanilla reward, which is a pearl lance,
very nice.
and and that second reward, that's our bonus for them. And in this case, it was a Valiant Knife, a very good weapon.
Now that one's special because I guess we should talk about the offering. Usually cuts down the damage. Like offering, you're able to hit 4 times with a single weapon, and usually it cuts down the damage by half. That's not the case for the VK's calculation, so you can put in some real big work on that if you have it on the right person with the right amount of HP to kind of stack on top of it. And it looks like the Velt check for Medes, I think I saw a Mog on that side there. So another one, we're going to see Tritok on Sabre's side, going to go down there and probably grab Terra out of the Umaro Cave as well.
So Mog the Moogle there for Medes. Tritok here for SabreWolf. Tritok is only vulnerable to fire and anything that ignores defense. Both his physical defense and magical defense are very high. So Edgar's going to throw money at the problem and then hope it goes away. And Locke can swing that new Valiant Knife. It ignores defense.
Just an all-around great weapon, hands down. I love seeing VKs, but like they just never pop up whenever I run the seeds for whatever reason. And here we are at Crumbling House on Medes' side. Tritok kind of putting in some work here on SabreWolf's side, just being a bit of a roadblock. Also, we'll comment that Medes met the Gigantos on the Velt, but Telstar here, hopefully going to be going down pretty quickly in the Crumbling House.
Yeah, unfortunately, encounters on the Velt don't reward experience, so no farming of the Gigantos there.
Such a shame. Now they are vulnerable to instant death, however.
Yes, indeed.
Make it quick and easy to deal with. And the monster in a box here. It looks like we found Katana Soul. Here's your offering. And I don't know if... Does he have any... He does not have... We're not going to have any effect magic, so he's not going to have Muddle. He doesn't have a tool user for Noise Blaster. He doesn't have any lore users to it, so he's going to have to brute force kill Katana Soul. There's a whole bunch of different ways to kind of take him down. You could sketch his picture and just have him murder himself. You can confuse him in various different ways. But it looks like we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Gotta just bop him until he falls over. Does Medes have any of the weapons that would be good with the offering? I'm not sure if he ever picked up that Atma weapon or... I know he doesn't have that Valiant Knife yet, so...
I'm not sure what he's got in his pocket at this point, though. We know he has the Illumina, that's for sure. SabreWolf we've seen has all kinds of gear on their side. Looks like they're going down into the Umaro Cave. Didn't see what Tritok gave as the reward. Let me go take a gander and see what they say on their tracker.
Yeah, so we know that the reward here is going to be Terra, so SabreWolf will pick up his 6th character and finds the pugs in a box. Pugs are very interesting. They have a ton of physical evasion, so you're not likely to hit them with just basic attacks. And SabreWolf opts to Smoke Bomb out of there, but those are good fights because you can steal Minervas from them, and they have I believe it's 1 in 8 chance to drop a Minerva per pug.
That's correct.
Now, one of the more interesting things is that the pugs formation is different than the singular pug enemies that you can find. The pug enemies, the singular ones, they do not have Minerva steals or drops. It is only the pugs.
I just watched. Looks like Atma weapon is in Medes' arsenal here, so looks like we can use that offering on that. And here comes a very, very heavy-footed Terra, stomping her way out in Umaro's cave. And get your dab emotes out if you've got them at this point. But here's our Yeti friend, and wow, just making quick work of Locke. 4,000 damage with that opener. Goodness gracious.
That's that tough scaling coming into play.
There it is.
Now, with that Valiant Knife, it is usually preferred to keep that character at low HP, because what the Valiant Knife does is For every 1 point of health that you're missing, the Valiant Knife deals 1 more point of damage. So if you're familiar with the lore spell Revenge, which is just max minus current HP, the Valiant Knife has that effect stapled onto it.
And it looks like Crumbling House in World of Ruin Zen. The reward for that, it's another Lumi.
Wow.
So there's your, if you were talking Genji glove strats earlier with dual wielding Illuminos there, that's on the play. Here we go, talking to the thief in the corner though, Terito.
Oh wow, very cheap too. So
I mean, this is wealthy start. I mean, you already had your pockets padded pretty decently here.
Oh yeah, sure. You're rich. Your pockets are flush, but still, getting a discount on that item is always very nice. So in Worlds Collide, you can buy that Esper, much like you can, or buy whatever the thief has. Sometimes it's an Esper, sometimes it's an item. But he charges anywhere between 1 and 65,535 gold. Now, that value does change between the World of Balance and the World of Ruin. So what a lot of runners will do is, if they go there and it's like a $50,000 item, for example, they'll switch to the other world and try it again and see if they can get it even cheaper.
Fantastic. So, looking at the current totals right now, it looks like SabreWolf picking up Terra. We're at 6 and 5. And on Medes' side here, we are 7 and 9 right now. So Medes looking like he's having the lead. We'll see how things kind of shake out and where they go next. But knocking down those quicker checks on their side. Let's see where SabreWolf goes next as well. Kind of curious to see how this one shakes out too. Oh, look at this. Medes parking in front of World. Look,
there's the
little high five
yeah.
there. Little high five action. You love to see it. They're just kind of like one setting down while one other one lifting off. You love to see it. So on this side, looks like Medes will go through another way, actually. I'm curious if he's going to be going to, taking that fast way to get up there, looks like.
Yeah, so he's coming in here. He's going to get his second Atma weapon. And presumably he will go up the cliffs to get his Terra and, what was the Tritalk reward? It wasn't Esper, is that right?
That was an Esper, yeah, that we picked up. So this is definitely very fruitful, and then maybe we'll see a dragon kill along the way as well.
So at the end of this, assuming that he is successful, Medes will be at 10 and 8. And there are a lot of character checks, or a lot of checks, excuse me, that will just reward potentially either an item or an Esper. And so I would be very surprised if he doesn't do something like search the skies or go into Magitech facility and do 1 and 2, for example.
Pretty quick way to do it, and also that should round out enough bosses for them to get that boss skip as well into KT. So we could be in go mode pretty quickly here and just kind of get on their way. They have plenty of offensive power otherwise, but again, we're just trying to piece things together and see what we actually get. So going up there on top, it looks like SabreWolf stopping off at Gal's dad's house, and we'll be picking up Stab in here as well. So we'll be getting another character.
123,000 gold, my goodness.
That's a whole lot of money, man.
So White Dragon showing off here just how rude he can be. He can open up with up to 3 attacks, and if they're all Pearl, it's just a bunch of time loss, in addition to some potentially dead characters.
Completely agreed there, Gar. That can be a bit rough one to work with, but not too bad. Taking it down, though, very, very good.
And there is SabreWolf's 8th character. And he's picking up his old man, so now he's got 7 more Espers to find.
Well, I mean, having the characters kind of sorted out already, like I mentioned, the stats here are, you can definitely find that a little bit easier. I don't think he's gone and visited Zen yet. And he can go buy one of those Espers at this point, too. So we'll see what he gets. And Medes just kind of chugging along here. Going to be going up to Tritalk and Umara to bang those out really fast at this point. So it's looking like, if I was a gambling man here, Gar, it looks like Medes is on track to be first into KT, but we'll see how things shake out. Maybe SabreWolf had some rough luck with all those dead checks there for a little while. Maybe they'll be able to piece things together and get some Magicite and meet them there in the tower quickly. Looks like they're going to be going to World of Ruin Zozo to see what they've got there. So maybe Mount Zozo, possibly?
Mount Zozo and... yeah, so I don't necessarily hate this check. There is a second dragon that lives up here, in addition to a check at the end of Mount Zozo. And there are some chests in the along the way, although I think at this point, I personally would be like, I'm powerful enough, I don't need any of this. And I would just run straight through.
One thing I guess I should call out here real fast is that usually you need to go talk to a shady dealer and get that rust day, a little bit of stuff to loosen the door and get you in. But since we're able to delete NPCs, we just delete the door. The doors are just simply a suggestion to us, and we open up our apartment into... I don't understand this, Gar. How does this work? How do we open an apartment into a freaking mountain? What? I don't understand.
You're gonna have to ask Cyan. Like I don't know. I don't know how he got in here. Like, did the door just rust shut behind him?
there are so many questions, man. But he's the master of Bushido. You know, he just phased through the door somehow, I guess.
I guess.
No, it is raining there pretty often. Why are the other doors not rusted? Why just that one specifically? There's so many questions, Gar.
I've learned not to ask. The answer will just hurt me.
Probably for the best. And speaking about hurt right there, SabreWolf putting on the hurt on Skull Dragon at this point, throwing out the Illuminate and Crack Boom. That's 2 dragons, so they get the Dragon's Raiment for this one, and you know, pretty sizable amount of experience and magic points too.
We'll see if he's even interested in the Dragon's Raiment at this point. Given the weapons that SabreWolf has. Yeah, I mean, trading out that Aura Lance for, or excuse me, trading out the Ammo Weapon for an Aura Lance, excuse me, and then possibly putting on this Dragoon Boots Dragonhorn combo. Okay, so he will do that. But honestly, you could just swing an Ammo Weapon, it would be totally fine as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. You got to think though that as much as we like the Dragoon, it's usually something where we can add if we don't have other offensive options available, because it's a 2-stage attack. It takes a while. You can't control where it goes, so maybe you opt for the faster cast. And there's a piece of Magicite sitting atop Mountain Zozo here for SabreWolf. Maybe it'll be something good. We'll see.
Yeah, one can only hope. Meanwhile, Medes is filling out his characters with that Terra there, so only has 2 more Espers before he is in go mode. So 53 minutes in for a Far Horizon Seed. This is very fast.
Oh, this is speedy. Real speedy. And that's Phoenix that's sitting atop Mount Zozo.
And Medes going into the Opera House here, going to take on what would be the vanilla, or in the vanilla game, Dirt Dragon. So we'll see which one it is here. Could still be Dirt Dragon.
Yeah, so I think the vanilla bosses don't... So they are shuffled around, that's right, because we would have seen the Ice Dragon in Field of Narsh.
Right, and... Ooh, a Blue Dragon, though. This one's very rude.
So water-based, the 8 dragons, I mean the 8 elements that are in the game itself. Fire, bolt, ice, wind, water, earth, holy. My brain's kind of going here. I may have missed one, the other ones along the way. But yeah, for all of the 8 that we have at this point. So I can't imagine they're going to be going too much further with dragons. It's nice for a nice experience boost, but you're already dealing with a Far Horizon Seed. So maybe you stop at 2 just to learn a couple of some white magic spells and kind of move on.
Certainly. SabreWolf picking up that Torado Esper there. And one of the things, too, is that, once again, dragons do increase the scaling. So enemy levels and HP and MP just got scaled up by 2.5. At this level of offense, and like with their elemental protections, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. but you don't want to discount anything. And there's Saber offering for SabreWolf.
Yeah, going through the crumbling house there, so following very much in the footsteps of Metis at this point. So we'll see what comes next for them. With 8 and 10 on Metis' side, we just need 2. So what do you do at this point? If you're looking for 2, do we go to the auction house since we have plenty of money and just kind of roll the dice there? Do we go to the Magitech factory? Where you go at this point? I don't even know.
So auction house is definitely very tempting. I would probably go to Magitech personally. At this point I want experience. I want more levels. I want as many levels as I can possibly get with a physical based party like this. So the Search the Skies is still open. I'd probably do that one first.
Yeah, that's usually a Magicite. I've seen that. I mean, it's either Magicite or item, hands down, but that's a quick and easy one to do. Just instantly get into a fight and just see what happens here with it. But maybe, okay, auction house strats maybe on the table here. Okay, let's go to the auction house and see what we've got.
Are there glowing stones? There are not. So auction house off the table for this seed.
And what my friend here, Gar, is referring to is that usually there's something called a hint that we'll get from the folks there that as soon as you get to the auction house, they'll say, glowing stones still available, so you know they don't have to waste your time there. Goes there, talks to it, says, thank you very much, I don't want to bid today. And he does not want that, 1/40th scale model of an airship that he can't possibly win.
No improv bots, not today.
Yeah, unfortunately. Going to Mobliz here, and I'm going to talk to a kid and see, and it looks like Stray, that is a Magicite, that's what we're looking for, and that is 2 bosses in this check as well.
And I'm so sorry, little girl, but Stray is coming with us.
You're not going to take Stray away? Yeah, we are. We totally are now. Just shove the kid to the side.
I need 2 more Espers, kid. I gotta do it.
Yeah, exactly. We're just a bunch of jerks out just rolling it. Really? Stray, you say?
If only you had said Redcap, I would have left you alone.
And there is the second Illumina for Saber for completing the crumbling house here. And Funbaba, or Funbaba, I don't know how you want to pronounce that one, just putting the fun back into it. And
Joyous Robert.
Joyous Robert. Yeah, okay. I see it. I see it. He's a beefy boy, man. He's been working out. He skipped a little bit of leg day though. It's all upper body.
It's all upper body. He might do thighs too. No calves.
I didn't expect to talk about Funbaba's workout regimen here and what he's got, but down to 2. Looks like Edgar and Locke gonna hang out. And wait, okay, that's right. It's vanilla bosses at this point. So does Funbaba 3 or 2 or whatever this is, do they count as 2 separate unique bosses, or are they the same?
They do count as 2 separate bosses, and that's why this is so powerful. If you're looking for bosses and you have access to Mobliz, doing this will get you 2, basically right off the rip. Now, the catch is, like you see on Metis' screen, Edgar and Locke have to fight this by themselves. Once you deplete enough of Funbaba's health, he will Baba Breath away 2 random characters. He will prefer those that are dead, so in theory you could cheese it like that, but personally I've never bothered.
I actually did not know about that preference there for Baba Breath at this point, but is it prefer or guarantee? That's the big question there, because if he blows away people that are still there and you go into the next fight and they're still laying there dead, that's probably not a good thing.
I do believe it is guarantee.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
SabreWolf going into the dream here, gonna fight some bosses that are potentially very rude.
So this is a fight that it takes a little bit of learning to kind of deal with, but you got 3 separate elements for each of the 3 Stooges we have here. But the main one you want to focus on is up top, because if you kill anything else, she will just life 2, or he will. I don't even know. They will life 2. It's kind of ambiguous at this point. You don't really know, but it's not Shemp. That's all we know.
It's not Shemp, no.
Well, life 2 of the other ones to bring them back. So once you have to take care of them. Delta hit's also really annoying to deal with. Stone someone on the team if they don't have a ribbon to deal with. But
yeah. So the trick with this fight is to look at the color of their pants. So you see that we have Larry and Mo. Larry is the one with the blue pants. Mo is the one with the yellow pants. And what that means is Larry will cast ice elemental spells and is therefore weak to fire. Mo is has the lightning pants and what is he even weak to?
Larry in the back, so he's ice, so that would be fire.
Larry's weak to fire. Mo, though, the lightning one, I'm not sure what he's weak to. I've never bothered to learn him.
Just murder. I just weak to murder.
In the chat, we have a comment from a Kerplop. This is my favorite FF. I hope the randomizer is fun. Kerplop, the randomizer has breathed new life into this game for me. This is maybe my favorite game ever. It's a tie between this and Chrono Trigger, right? SabreWolf seeing a realm there. Anyway, ff6worldscollide.com, like Turdsman said, that is where you can get started. We have a link to our Discord there. You can roll seeds there, and please join us. There are so many cool things that are happening right now, and we would absolutely love to have you in our community.
And speaking of this, real quick, I just want to point this out. Medes, they're taking down Doomgaze. It was a Magicite. So I believe they are in go mode now, 8 and 12.
I'm looking at their levels. It looks like the lowest one is that Terra there at level 33. So,
hey, definitely possible. You can do it with less. Trust me.
Oh yeah. If you've never tried to do Final Kefka, you know, in the 20s, that's it's a nice challenge, I would say.
Sometimes, Gar, sometimes you don't have the option otherwise.
I tell that to the folks at the Maduin table.
Exactly. Well, here we go. We're going to be hopping in and getting that sweet KT skip here. So Medes, the first one to get in there, looked like 102 for the skip. That's real nice for a far horizon here. I think Honeydew would be proud.
Oh yeah, that's very, very quick. For comparison, our Ultras League seeds, which is what would we consider like our default race seed, having the skip at 1 hour and 2 minutes means that you are doing very, very well.
That you are, Gar. Very curious to see here how the statues are shuffled, but I mean, there's so many devices of death that Medes has at their disposal at this point. I don't really think damage output's gonna be much of a problem here based on what they've done. So we'll see what they got. But first things first, Guardian blocking the way because the vanilla boss is there. The beefy, chonky boy who can run programs. But look at this, slapping for 3K a swing with the Atma weapon there. So that's a cool 12K. And little Pearlwind action too for Mog. Just look, I'm helping. High five, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, Shrapnel's very rough though.
Oh, nice block there. The 2.7K to Mog just taking a nice little nap here while Locke puts in the work. But that block was clutch and keeping that damage maximized. Very, very nice. Guardian's got a big health pool though with that scaling, and also usually is a very chonky boy.
Yeah, very, very thick. That's for sure. And we cannot forget that. After this, we have the statue bosses. They are here. Their positions are shuffled, so it's not necessarily going to be. I think it's Poltergeist at the top of the center route here, but it will be one of them.
All right. So, looking like at this point here, with SabreWolf taking care of the multi-part check that is Cyan's Nightmare. I actually really like this check in general. Like, it's very dense. You get a lot of goodies for it. But picking up that 9th character, not really needing the realm to be in there. Murder Child, as much as we love her, getting her this late is a bit of a drag.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not exactly what we were looking for there. So hopefully there will be an Esper on the throne here. And looks like Doom was at the top for Medes. Maybe the least... the least dangerous of the three.
Yeah, I mean, his aura starts shaking. He, like we're seeing here, he casts Force Field for a little while, but if you're able to get around that Reflect and be able to hit him somehow, it's not too bad overall.
Yeah. I'm thinking, though, that Metis was really hoping to find Goddess here because she could be very mean, but she also goes down very easily to physical damage, and Locke, with that offering, will avoid that love token that can come out.
I mean, so here's the thing. You can actually kind of juggle that equipment around if you really want to. Just strip that off of him, hand it off to somebody else. I don't know what the logistics are of that, how they it's like throw it from across the dungeon, like it's some sort of like bag that's connected. But nonetheless, you could take that off and put it on if there's someone that's able to use that stuff and, use that on some of the other legs if you want to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. SabreWolf going into Cable in the Veld and sees a poor face-down gentleman, which is a dead check, so unfortunately, we'll be warping out of there. No saving that guy.
Yeah, typically you would see either a character or literally a piece of Magicite just sitting there at this point, so that's guaranteed to be an item. No reason to waste your time with that one. Moving on to the next one.
SabreWolf going to pick up his stray here.
I gotta go talk to the very informative little girl just kind of hanging out down there. I always forget which one it is. They're moving around so much. Like, it's just, you never know. There it is. Okay. We even saw Metis talk to the wrong one, too. It was like talking about the I don't know, the belly
saw
growing.
Dwayne kissing Catherine.
Yep, that's it. That's the one. Is it wrong to NPC vanish the kid out of frustration?
It's never wrong to
okay, all right.
To doom the kid.
Oh no! It's not Doom. They go to somewhere where there's unlimited snacks and they get a nice little juice box. It's a safe place, I promise.
Okay, understood. Meta's finding Poltergeist, which is basically the bane of my existence.
Everyone loves Polo del Fuego.
Get your spicy chicken emotes in the chat if you got them.
Hey, I like myself some spicy chicken, man. I can go for some buff chick.
Some Nashville hot. Let's go.
Ooh, Nashville hot. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna make everybody hungry here. We're hungry to see this final climb for Metis at this point. Murton. That's something we haven't seen this entire seed because guess what? No black magic. Womp womp. Vivi's Lament.
So. Poltergeist here, very rude. It's got basically auto shell, auto protect, and auto haste. It is vulnerable to bio, and critically, it is vulnerable to stop.
Oh, I love that. So good.
Unfortunately, because of the aforementioned auto haste.
Right, exactly. I mean, you could get lucky. We didn't, but you could find a stunner and actually just, kind of do that and hope for the best. Or if we had someone with a wall protection and he opens with stop, it's weird that he opens with a weakness sometimes that he has that you can just kind of stop him at that point. But yeah, there's nothing more satisfying than running into him, having the ability to stop him through whatever means, and taking care of that.
SabreWolf just got ultimated by Funbaba.
Welcome to tough scaling.
Worlds collide, everybody. This is what you can expect to see sometimes.
It's a beautiful thing. And look, maybe he heard us talking about the leg day thing. He's like, I'll show you, and just throws out the Ultima. All comes full circle. Very nice spear damage there, but not enough to take him down. Here comes the bolt and taking the dirt nap on SabreWolf. So that one's gotta hurt though.
Yeah, that definitely stinks. Ultima from Funbaba is basically the last thing that you expect. So very unfortunate there. And he is going to fly back and try again.
Yeah, he's got new tricks, and unfortunately taking care of it. It's and the rich get richer on Metis' side. But still, it's got to get through spicy chicken at this point.
It looks like it, although that Merton came out, just knocked out Go-Go Sabin, no problem.
But hey, we're good.
Down it goes.
I respect it. I respect Sabre going back for the revenge play at this point. Like, look, if I am able to take him out before Ultima goes off, we're good. We're gonna get this.
SabreWolf, second time in, does not get the dog skip. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you move, like when you enter that house right there, if you move straight forward, a dog will come in and basically point the way behind the bookcase to where you're supposed to go. But you can step left or right, the dog won't spawn, and you can go just straight down behind that bookcase. It saves a couple of seconds there.
I did not know that. That just blew my mind.
Yeah,
Crazy.
see? And that, honestly, to me, that's like the coolest thing about Worlds Collide is that every single seed that you play, you can learn something new about the original game. And there's a lot to learn just in general, so...
I agree, and that's honestly, that's one of the most rewarding parts of playing Worlds Collide is just being able to learn and like apply knowledge to like future runs. Like, hey, I learned this from before. I've got this ability, and I can save some time with it. Like, you know the boss weakness. You know how to make a build. You know how to do certain things. You found a new chest you didn't know existed. I'm still finding stuff in this game that I don't know about by watching other people, getting involved with the events and stuff like that. And I've said for pretty much my entire life, this is my favorite game of all time. I love Final Fantasy VI. I love everything about it, and still learning. This makes you a student of the game, and it's a very deep and rewarding randomizer experience.
100% agreed, Retro. Could not have said it better.
Oh, here we go. Final statue on Medes' side at this point. And of course, by process of elimination, Goddess is here.
Oh my Goddess.
It's Terra and Setzer. Setzer going off right away. Terra just going to start slapping. Not as much as Locke, but still very, very decent damage.
Yeah. So should be very much protected from anything that she could do.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. The quad jump, baby. Let's go. It's like a 3.5% chance.
And down goes Goddess. Wow.
Wow, with authority.
So simple, so clean.
Setzer's not playing around. He's like, this is my event. Look at this. Here we go. That was amazing. It was really, really exciting to see that one.
Yeah, so awesome. It's so rare to see a quad jump, especially with an actual Dragoon.
How about it?
Okay, so that is it for Medes. The only thing that he has left to do is do the final Kefka climb. And there is a lot to talk about there, so you're going to want to watch.
Yeah. Well, for those that maybe not initiated with this, or those that maybe haven't looked at this in a little while, it's a long road to the top if you want to rock and roll. But it's 4 tiers, 3 tiers of pain to get through, and there's like I said, there's a lot to unpack. I can't even rattle all of it off at this point here, but very interesting imagery. One of the best final boss themes of all time. Fight me on that if you want, but
I do not want.
it's real good, and we'll see how it works out. Now, we don't have mute. I don't think we picked up Siren either, so we're not going to have that in our back pocket here either.
That'll be a little bit annoying.
Yeah, we don't have any instant death either, so... Well, wait, we did pick up Raiden, and we have multi-summon, so we can rip some limbs off and take care of some things. So let's see what strats are employed. We'll talk about them as we go up the tiers here. As we see SabreWolf up in Esper Mountain, which I believe this was an item, if memory serves. I may be a little wrong.
I know that Medes did this basically at the start of the run, and I have forgotten what it was.
It's hour 14 and so many checks later, and it's been a lot, but Ultra's getting smacked in the face with Illumina and Spear. I feel bad for Uncle Ulti.
All Realm wants to do is paint his portrait.
Yeah, he just wants to work in the Coliseum, man. That's all he wants to do. Anyway, away we go on Medes' side at this point. Gonna be making the final climb up. Here we are with Demon or Face, long arm and short arm.
Already, just immediately off the bat, being rude with that reverse polarity. Yeah,
that's it looks like taking out the long arm there with the true edge from Raiden there. So does not have to deal with that big beefy arm in the front. Just has to deal with the face and the short arm. We want to see damage on the face, and unfortunately 10k damage to the short arm by Locke there. And he's got a lot of things he can't aim at this point. So we'll see how things work out. You want to take down that face though. by itself, or it's going to counter with Quake, and that could hurt. He's got a lot of health, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, at full health, I do believe that he's going to survive a Quake, but you would rather just not deal with that situation at all. So
Well, why take the risk?
exactly. So yeah, the strat here is normally just to kill the long arm. That's the arm that is facing you, the viewer. There's the head, which is a head, and then there's the short arm, which is not the long arm. So kill them in that order to avoid basically all the counters.
And as we mentioned here, the tier 1 already done here, but long arm is weak to doom or break or instant death, and with Raiden coming out there with that true edge, just carving it up and taking care of it right away. But here we are in tier 2. We're probably gonna see Raiden bust out again. We got 4 enemies on this one, and this big pile of we got Tiger, we got the blue guy Hit with his little speedo here hanging on. We got a big mess of gears. That's a machine or tools in the back there. And we got Magic hanging off the back there. He'll probably be the most annoying thing to deal with in this tier, unfortunately. But we'll see if we're able to get rid of tools with the True Edge. Meanwhile, we got Saber taking a leisurely train ride, dealing with the security there, offering for the ticket. We'll see what happens with that. There goes the True Edge and Hacha. And tools is done, so we're down to 3 enemies here. So next in the lineup, you want to take care of Tiger. Tiger can do stupid stuff like Flare Star and North Cross, and that can free some of your party. Kind of annoying to deal with. And then we have Magic and we have Hit. Hit, when he dies, his death counter is 10 hits, literally just punching you in the face 10 times. Magic is going to be using a whole bunch of nasty stuff as well, and can use Quarter and Dispel. You don't want to kill Magic and Hit at the same time, because that quarter 10-hit combo can be a lethal one.
Yes, indeed. So I think in this case, normally what I would do, if I had Mute, I would kill the Tiger Head first, because like you said, it does all kinds of just really horrible stuff. It can turn you into zombies, South Cross, North Cross, just all kinds of really nasty stuff. So kill that one first. With Mute, you can mute Magic. That again is the blonde gentleman pointing away in the back, and then focus on Hit. Kill Hit. Let him do his 10 hits, as you see right here, and then you take out Magic.
And here we go with the Ghost Train on SabreWolf side. Should be pretty straightforward for that. And we're watching the tier 2. Throwing out those dispels. I think that could be the death counter dispels he's putting out there. So something to be mindful of, that if you try to stack all of your positive status effects there, Magic will wipe those before you get into tier 3. Which looks like we'll be heading there momentarily.
Yeah, so very quick tier 2 there from metas. And not too terrible from the Magic counters there. So it's either 0 to 1 quarters and 0 to 2 dispels whenever he dies.
Off we go to tier 3. We have Girl and Sleep, or Girl and Rest, or Lady and Rest. Long story short, the girl up top there will absorb all magic attacks, but only has 10,000 health. Will cast Life 2 and Pearl Wind to heal up Sleep or Rest in the front there. But basically, take care of her. Unfortunately,
Another quad jump.
A quad jump, but 3 of them were on Rest. We have to be very mindful of how much damage we're doing to Rest at this point, because he only has 40k, and he starts pumping out Meteo, and will eventually do Calmness. But we have that Golem already, which he's already put up, and you can multi-summon that, so we'll see how that goes.
Golem, very important because of Calmness, which is the death move that will get thrown out from Rest there. Calmness can be cast either once or twice, and it is an instant death move, but it relies on physical evasion to dodge it and not magical. So, like, if you've ever played this game in vanilla and you had like a safety bit on or something like that, Calmness will kill you through the safety bit, but it will not kill you through Golem, because Golem will block it, or Fenrir. And already a Meteo phase, so, and it looks like we're just going to kill him outright right here.
Here it is, yeah. And Golem just saying no. Just Matumbo right there, just blocking the shot. Very well done there. One meteor went off, 2 misses, and Locke took about 1,000 some damage to the face. But off we go to Final Kefka, the 4th tier here. Very, very clean climb from Medes at this point here. So barring anything super unforeseen, I think this should be a pretty nice victory and looking like a sub 130 by a mile.
Oh yeah, we're eyeballing like a 120. 122, maybe even like a high 121. So very nice job by Medes here, although it is not over, and Kefka can be very mean.
I guess we should talk about the counters.
Sorry, go ahead.
I guess we should talk about the counters that Kefka can do, and we saw Ultima one time today. I'm wondering if we'll see it again, but there's also Havoc Wing and Hyperdrive and all kinds of nasty stuff that we'll have to deal with. But based on the amount of damage that Medes can dish out at this point, I fully expect that he should be able to outpace Kefka and take him down fairly quickly in short order. Another quad! Another quad! This is unbelievable.
I've never seen this before.
Apparently, Setzer is the best Dragoon of all time. Move Arcane Highwind. Freaking Setzer is the one that's meant to be up there, man. That's crazy. Unbelievable.
I have never seen that. That's so cool. Okay, so that first attack there, Fallen One, just sets your HP to 1. He did just steal a Mega Elixir, at least according to... there it is. So you can steal a Mega Elixir from Kefka here, and then use it to heal back up immediately afterwards, so...
And time will be on Crack Boom as soon as we see that white flash for Kefka, and I think that's coming up real soon here. And charging up Goner will not counter at this point. Definitely has enough damage. And here's a Pearl proc from
nice
Illumina.
Proc, yeah.
I think this is going to be over. That's a 25% chance of that procking off that weapon. 6.3k. Here comes Setzer again with 2 this time. That might be enough.
Another proc?
Another Pearl proc.
And Locke is queued up as well. So, yeah, I think this is going to do it.
Yeah, a casual 12,000 damage right there from Locke. I think that's going to be Crack Boom. Boom, there it is.
And that is Medes done with a time of 122.37. Phenomenal job.
Very, very well done on that. That just a clinic, expertly well played with this flag set. And that's going to be a real tough time to beat. For other folks that are vying for those final spots there. There's nothing really I can pick apart in that gameplay that Medes threw out there. Just an overall excellent display of skill and good decision making. Using the flags to their advantage throughout the entire process there. So very, very well done throughout. Back on SabreWolf side, going through, we're fighting Goddess, trying to make it there as quick as we can. To the final climb. Savin taking a little bit of a leisurely nap while Terra is up in the sky and dropping down at this point.
And we're joined in the booth by Medes. Congratulations, sir. Very well played.
Thank you. Thank you. It's did you see me trying to find that Mega Elixir there at the end? That was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that was strange. I was wondering where it was.
So it's like I stole it, but I was already in the inventory screen with Edgar, and it never populated on my inventory screen. I just switched characters to use it.
As much as I love this game, there are definitely some quirks that I would love to have seen changed. But anyway, GG, tell me your thoughts about the Siege just in general.
Okay, I was super unhappy with the openings, so. In all of my practices, what I've done is I've looked for rods or super balls, and I've killed my dragons immediately to get my Dragoon set. I never came across them in this one. Good news, I guess, is there was tons of great gear. I mean, it seemed like I was constantly getting good items. So I ended up not needing them. But I kept doing a lot of character switching. Like, I had Go-Go, I couldn't make him work. I was worried about Setzer because I didn't have that Dragoon set. Then right at the end there, I hot swapped out to Terra because I got that second Minerva. But it was very unlike the practice seeds I ran.
Oh, how did your practice seeds go? Like, were they faster or slower than what you did tonight?
This is the best time I've posted on this flag set. I did a 127 on a practice seed a couple nights ago, so I shaved off about 5 minutes here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
So,
sorry, go ahead, Gar.
I was just going to ask. At the very start, you went to the Coliseum and you found the Illuminas there trading for heavy shields. Did it ever cross your mind to go and shop for heavy shields to go get more Illuminas? Or was that just kind of like a secondary thing?
Go out of my way to hunt for them. I kept looking at armor shops. If I would have seen them, I would have stocked up. But it wasn't something where I was like, okay, I have to stop what I'm doing to go get more of these.
I was commenting earlier here, Medes, that very, very well played. There's not really any major mistakes I can pick apart here. I think that you made a lot of really good decisions throughout. Is there anything that you feel besides the opening that didn't go well? I think everything kind of went your way. And clearly the Setzer Dragoon luck, we saw multiple quad jumps there, which is super rare to see, just kind of raining down. Fantastic stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came together well at the end. This flag set is very static. There are so many things that you are guaranteed to have. The 3 starting characters are guaranteed. Vanilla bosses are guaranteed. So it's a lot easier to game plan for this flag set than it is for something like Ultros League, where basically you don't know what's going to happen until you load up your seed.
Now, with it being vanilla bosses, did that influence how you routed the seed at all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't touch World of Ruin until I absolutely had to. All the bosses in World of Balance are a pushover. I just breezed through all those bosses.
That is actually a very good point then. Since you know it's vanilla bosses, why prioritize, even if they're faster checks in World of Ruin to get through, you have to deal with some nasty stuff there, whereas World of Balance is pretty much straightforward. You're going to have the nice experience boost to deal with. I mean, the tough scaling on top of it's kind of rough too.
The scaling I wasn't too worried about, especially with all that gear I found. I mean, the Cursed Shield only needing 1 battle, that was ridiculous.
That was wild.
Ended up with the Minervas, I kept finding elemental shields. It was, nothing could hurt me.
So overall, just feeling very confident throughout. How did you feel when you got to the Coliseum and you saw that you could trade a heavy shield for the Illumina?
Yeah, well, so my thought was, okay, well, that's awesome. Obviously, I'm going to try that. The only thing I cared about was getting through an easy battle to get my stat boost, though. So, like, if I had bid the heavy shield for the Illumina and it had been some horrible monster like a Doom Dragon or something, I wouldn't have, tried to fight for it to get it. I'd been like, okay, well, that sucks, and I would have moved on. So it just kind of worked out that it was something my lot could handle, even though he tried to steal 4 times in a row.
That was a beautiful thing. Very, very nice.
I was thinking for sure I was going to be behind there at that point, just like little stuff like that holding me up.
Was there ever a point that actually segues pretty nicely into my next question? Was there ever a point in the seed where you felt like particularly behind or particularly ahead?
I had really bad luck in that Coliseum, obviously, with all of those steals. That did not go well. My game plan approaching this thing, it ended up actually SabreWolf and I did a bunch of practice, and we were chatting and stuff like that. We're kind of sharing our insights on the flag set with each other and what we'd done that worked well, hadn't worked well. And he had made the comment to me that, hey, you're taking an awful long time doing these long checks like Magitech Factory and the Floating Continent. So when I actually came to the competition seed, I tried to avoid doing both of those. And I think by going his strategy of trying to hit quick checks, it ended up paying off for me versus doing those long ones.
Well, that's kind of the balance too, right? Because I was actually thinking it, and I wish I had talked about it during the stream, but one of the things that I'm actually thinking about doing, basically right off the rip, is the Floating Continent. And the reason why is because there are 2 checks that are guaranteed to be progression items, with a third that will generally be something that'll progress your seed. So it is long, but with vanilla bosses, you know exactly what you're going up against. It's not that difficult. And then you get some fights in front to give you the experience. So interesting to see where like the divergence is in the thought process, and I think that's one of the things that makes Worlds Collide so interesting.
I think I would have made the decision to go there had I found rods. In my practice, I came across thunder rods. You go up to the floating continent and you just one-shot the air fortress or sky fortress or whatever it's called. And I mean, you can just breeze through it. If you have the elemental rods, they do huge damage to Atmo weapon. You guys probably saw me throw earrings on Setzer right away. Earrings boost his 7 flush attack, but they're also going to give you a big damage bonus to rods if you find them. So having Setzer break the rods and having Gogo mimic that is extremely powerful in this flag set.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
rods
we saw
in general are very nice.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of the, and I think you were using these strats too with Esper multi-summoning, and then also using Mimic to kind of double cast Espers across 2 different people. It was a nice little move that you had out of the gate. And you mentioned about cracking rods. Toy Shops was one of the cards on the table for this one to make that more and more possible. But yeah, we really didn't see that pop up.
Yeah, so like I'm kind of looking at the chat here now. Lunar Chimera said he found some, so I'm sure they were there somewhere. I didn't find them, which that happens depending on where you choose to go.
There's always money in the Miranda stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe SabreWolf now down to their final statue before the final climb here because they've taken down everything else at this point. So let's see how things go with the fire chicken. Unfortunately, Gogo getting targeted. I don't know how the statue bends the will here and just single targets a Murton. How that works out.
With the power of magic, anything is possible.
I think this goes back to what you said earlier in the broadcast here, Gar, about not asking questions and just letting it happen.
Asking questions doesn't affect the outcome. You might as well just roll with it.
Well, fantastic. So, Medes, I'm going to ask you then. So, Lagomorph Lounge, I mean, it's full of a bunch of killers. There's a lot of people that got dropped down there earlier than they had anticipated. And at this point, I know that we have this showcase between you two, but there's still everyone else that's kind of jockeying for position, trying to get that buy-in for the final table. How do you think this is gonna slot in for times-wise?
Oh, I have no idea. I would think that anytime you pull a sub 90, you've got one of the better times, unless it's just a super crazy jet seed. So I'm sure that I'm going to end up posting one of the better times, but my goal for this entire tournament has been not to be last. So that's probably where I'm going to fall this time, I think.
Definitely looked very clean with what you were handed here, so very, very nice to see that.
Yeah, same. So for the weeks ahead in the Lagomorph Lounge, what kind of flags are you looking forward to seeing? Or is there a flag in here that you would like to see removed, perhaps?
I mean, I like more RNG in general. I don't like how predictable Lagomorph Lounge is right now. I mean, I guess it's great from a competition standpoint because we could actually practice it and have some specific strategies to try, but I would be like all for the vanilla bosses taking a calmness. I'd be fine with that.
Well, there's one more week left before the final table is brought in at this point, so one last chance to add on to this crazy set, since we're going to have a few more folks from the tables kind of filter out before the final happens at this point. So we'll see what cards get pulled, and if this gets even more wild, or if you get your wish of more RNG rather than it being more planned. Unfortunately, SabreWolf taking a death on Poltergeist. They're having to reset. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
that wombat there, it's very rough.
Yeah, that's a rough one. It looks so cute and small, but man, it hits hard.
Well, I don't have any other questions for you, Medes. Retro, do you have anything for him?
I believe we've covered everything else. I would say just GG. Very, very well done. Very nice display of what the seed can do, and whatever planning you put into this clearly paid off, and you made a lot of the right choices hands down. So great job, GG. Well played.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to take off, grab some dinner, and watch SabreWolf finish this up. Thank you so much for the restream. I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate you showcasing us playing the game tonight.
Glad to have you. Thank you so much. As a reminder, friends, please be sure to follow our runners and check them out here. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out here. Again, while we have a moment here, ff6worldscollide.com. Go hop over there. You can create your own seeds. Join the Discord. We're happy to help out new beginners and get people on their way. Some good stuff. And thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting us here. This is a weekly stream that we have. So definitely make sure you follow SpeedGaming and check that out if you want more. Also, there's the FF6 Worlds Collide dedicated channel where you can see a lot of the events and other action happening. So give them a follow as well. Lots to do, lots to get involved with. But trust me, folks. If you look at this and it seems like a lot out of the gate, we will help get you there. And the more you play, the more you learn, and the better you get. And there's always events going on. There's always races to be had to get involved with. And I will say, just from my perspective, just a very welcoming and an excellent community across the board. Very knowledgeable people that are willing to help you out. You'll have fun. Definitely join us.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, so round 2 for Spicy Chicken. Setzer left again. Strago and Gogo left laying at this point. Unfortunately, Setzer not hitting as hard as I think SabreWolf really would hope to at this point. So Spicy Chicken proving that the spice is strong today. Very, very high in the capsaicin. But we'll see what happens with this in round 2. Oh, I'm dodging that shrapnel, though. If you're in the sky, you can't get hit by anything. And that's definitely the kind of the move here. Just hoping that you're going to line up with that ATB. And oh boy, here we go.
So one of the unfortunate things that I noticed in his last attempt was that Poltergeist would cast Merton. Setzer would be up in the air, but the Merton still happens because it hits every player or everybody on the screen, and it was healing Poltergeist for about 4,500 per pop.
Here we go.
So basically, we do not want to see that happen.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, unfortunately, only about 1.5k per hit with the spear. That's thanks to that auto-save there.
It's very unfortunate. He's very tanky. And here comes a shrapnel. 1.1k. I mean, that's rough, man. That's non-elemental damage that you really can't negate otherwise. And Poltergeist is a very strong boy. And it's going to hit pretty hard. Flare Star coming in as well. Let's see what that does. I think that has something special with the damage calculation, but that was a nice little top-up for Setzer. Back up to 3.1k health after getting that shrapnel in the face.
Dodging that wombat there. Very nice. So Flare Star is based on the level of its target. So in theory, if there was a level 3 Go-Go in here that was still alive, Setzer would not take, he wouldn't take damage anyway, it's fire elemental, but it wouldn't do a whole lot of damage. There's that Merton that we don't want to see.
4.4. And only the double jump coming down. See how common the double jump is at this point. We saw those quads happen so much for Medes for whatever reason, just the luck on their side. But just keep on jumping and hope. Just the war of attrition here will hopefully happen if that Merton stays away. And I curse the commentator. There it is, folks.
Yeah, there it is. It's very unfortunate. We're really gonna need some more like triple and quadruple jumps out of Setzer.
I mean, do you search the inventory and do you look for shields to crack that maybe you don't need? I don't know. As far as trying to get ahead of those healing numbers, because he's healing for a pretty big chunk.
It's tough, and I would say if you have a shield to crack, go ahead and crack it. But understandably, at this point, you're probably a little bit wary about doing so.
That's fair. Yeah, at this point, just try to hold A and win, and just make sure that the RNG lines up in such a way where he doesn't use Merton enough, and that you're able to come down, and maybe that Dragon Horn will kick in, and you'll get that quad and get ahead a little bit. So if he's hitting for 14, 28, 56, that's a little bit more, but off a quad that's so rare, man.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, unless you're Medes, I guess, in which case you can just make it happen at will.
Yeah, it's automatic. What? Like it's nothing.
So
Oh, yeah, when it's split, that's only a 2.2 for him since it's splitting the damage.
yeah, so that's not bad. I don't think that Setzer can really die here unless he gets like a, I don't know, it would have to be like double Wombat, double Meteo, something like that. No, this S-Cross isn't going to do it.
To this day, I still do not understand why that ability looks like big snowballs that are coming at you,
And it's
but
fire
it's fire
damage,
based. It does
yeah.
not make like they screwed up the palette on it or something.
So
Like
we
that
are getting
good.
We are getting close to the end here. Once you start casting Meteo, that is below half, below a quarter. I honestly don't remember.
Ooh, landslide. Good thing you missed that too.
So hopefully the next jump will kill him.
This is the last statue that is the gatekeeper for SabreWolf to get into that final climb and able to reunite the band and have all offensive abilities at their disposal. So should be pretty straightforward. After that nice triple jump, no crack
Ooh.
boom yet.
But like those triple jumps, those are what you want to see.
Yeah, they're the ones
Unfortunately,
that are gaining ground.
Yeah, unfortunately the double jump is just so much more common.
Oh, the single target merts. Like, come on, Spicy Chicken. Now you're just being mean.
Yeah. This is rude. Poltergeist is a rude fight.
And this can happen sometimes when worlds collide. Like you get into certain situations where even best laid plans and best planning going into something, you just run into walls like this, and that's both. Oh, look, just busting out slots at this point, just trying to do it. You arrow.
Yeah, I think it's just desperation. Like he wants to find something that'll get through that defense.
Yeah, exactly.
So staying on the ground, definitely viable. Again, that Merton's going to split damage, so he'll only heal for 2k instead of the 4. The downside there is that he'd be vulnerable to like those landslides, those wombats, those meteos.
He's got some scary stuff here. But I just want to point out, notice how many jumps he's done in this fight. And we have not seen any quads like recently. Like this is how rare it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that landslide hitting real hard though. Very, very scary. Oh, that flare star will top him up though, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the whole thing. It's very hard for Setzer to die, but it's also very hard for Poltergeist to die.
Yeah, especially when he's healing himself for 4.5k, which is another reason why we love Merton so much. Once you get that build together, it almost feels better than Ultima because it doubles as both a super high damaging ability as well as a nice healing. If you have the ability to absorb that stuff too. So, but unfortunately, Poltergeist having that at his disposal, this is just rude, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, I guess while we have a moment while we're chugging through, we can actually mention here that the Blackjack Battle Royale is still rolling on, friends. And this was a massive event. I mean, how many different tables do we have that are currently active? 10 different tables, I think. I think we had like.
Ooh. Yeah, let me check it's a lot. This is by far our biggest event.
And I guess what we should talk about, we mentioned cards. For those that don't know, hey, there's a crack boom for SabreWolf. Oh, congratulations. Get hype in chat for SabreWolf sticking through that, man. Crazy. Going off to the final climb. But I guess what we should talk about, the cards that we're talking about, we mentioned a few of them by name. Basically what's happening is those cards that you go in with your team, with your table, and you get a choice of 3 cards, and they're named, and there's rarities of common, uncommon, rare, and mythic, and they alter the flag set, from the base flag set that we have in this, and they can do wacky stuff like we've seen, like with the vanilla bosses and Far Horizon. Like those are all different cards and stuff that were pulled and selected by the runners to add on top of it and create this custom flag set. So very exciting stuff. All tables were different. And we'll see the final table come together for the champions, and they'll build out their seed from there. But the Lagomorph Lounge, I mean, this is what, 25 different cards, basically, I think, that were all kind of piled on top of each other that you know, have created the seeds that we're seeing today.
Yep, and it's
pretty
only
wild.
gonna get bigger.
I love the fact that every table has had their own like special flavor. Like you look at the Odin table, for those that are in the know, and like they are a jet seed. Like you can finish the seed in like what feels like 5 minutes, man. Like you can make a frozen pizza and be done with a seed with that, just built from the ground up for speed as best as possible. And then there are other tables that deal with other challenges that I don't really want to mention here.
no love for the Magicman table, whose seeds are 3-something hours a pop.
Well, that is my own personal hell that I brought upon me, but that's fine. You know, shout outs to Madwin and everyone else that has dealt with it, Mr. Manager, Pedro, myself, and yeah, Ceiling Cat just noped out of it and just like, you know what, Lagomorph Lounge seems like the right place to go, and that's where it is though. But just absolutely wild, and it just a big shout out to the community as a whole, because it just Sunday draft day has become like this amazing experience where everyone piles on and watches how everyone's tables and their seeds change, and it's really exciting. But anyway, back to the action though, my friend Gar. We're here on Tier 1 for the final climb. We're going to cheer on SabreWolf to the finish line at this point. Trying to push for that sub 2. Putting a golem out early. Actually taking advantage of that multi-summon to block the physical damage. I like that play, actually. That's real neat.
Very heads up on SabreWolf's part. And again, like people, a lot of people ignore like the psychological aspect of this. And SabreWolf, who just came out of like a really, really long poltergeist fight that was preceded by a poltergeist wipe, it would be really easy to be like full tilt and forget exactly what you can do, but that's not what he's about. So very heads up by SabreWolf, popping out that golem, blocking all the physical damage that happens here.
It's a cool, unique play, because usually you don't have access to multi-summon. You summon your Esper once, and it's done for the entire climb, and you want that calmness protection. So having that ability here, that's great. And I'm going to guess we're going to see that same exact thing happen in Tier 2 to block hit, and that's a cool move.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like SabreWolf has access to instant death, so he is going to have to kill that long arm along with everybody else, the good old-fashioned way. And you do want to kill that one before you kill the short arm as well. It does have a counter. I believe it's 1 to 3 shockwaves.
That sounds about right, because I know it will throw those shockwaves out pretty heavily and just kind of just play havoc with the team at this point. Oh, nice Pearl proc on the face right there.
But yeah, same rules still apply. You want to kill the head first. You don't want to deal with Quake. You also don't want to deal with the shockwaves, but they are typically a little bit better managed. And there he goes, off to Tier 2.
So without instant death, he's gonna be dealing with tools, throwing out you know, machine-based stuff. We're gonna see some tech lasers and diffusers and some other nasties out there while he's dealing with everything else. Since we don't have mute available to us, I don't think he picked up Siren. So we'll be dealing with magic, slinging spells throughout. This tier is just straight up annoyance, and then Tier 3 is just straight up fear. With calmness, and if you're going to get someone wiped at this point. But I think he's stacked deep enough with offense that it should be okay. Even if the double calmness was there, he's got the golem in his back pocket, so not really too much. Just has to make it through here. Yep, here we go, popping out the golem, and if that wall goes down, he can always multi-summon it right back
summon it
up.
again. Yeah.
And from what my understanding with Golem is that he will block damage equal to the maximum HP. So, you know, if someone has 3k max HP, he'll block that amount of damage just over and over and over again, and you don't have to worry about that.
Yep. So one thing that Tier 3 is very notable for is its combos. And what I mean is the rest, the guy that's laying down, has access to a move called Whirlwind, or W-Wind, which takes everyone down to fractional HP. If you have an attack queued up while he does it, and it hits people, and you take him down to Meteo range, and he decides to cast Meteo, it is very easy to wipe at that point, and there is basically nothing that you can do about it. So we want to avoid that.
Tier 3 is just it's stress. No matter how much preparation you have for it, it's just kind of wild overall. But trying to work his way through Tier 2, putting in some pretty decent damage numbers throughout. Tools is still here, though, just playing havoc with Diffuser. We saw a North Cross go out, which is, you'd best be frozen, but actually able to block that on Terra's side and just straight up missed lock, thankfully, on that. To my knowledge, there's nothing in the game that can prevent North Cross. I mean, there's no frozen protection for you or enemies, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that's right. So, there are some checks against it, and what I mean is that North Cross has 2 rolls that it does. The first roll to see if it even hits your character. The second roll is if it hits, does your character resist it? So if you ever get in a situation where North Cross freezes your entire party, which has happened to me a few times, just know that you got very, very, very unlucky.
Just that special kind of RNG that you experience and just kind of like, never saw that before.
Yep. Just again, grin and bear it. Nothing you can do. You're frozen for, it's like a 2-minute timer, so yeah, go up, stretch your legs, get you some water. Which reminds me,
it's the worst.
Everyone in chat needs to drink water right now. I'm not playing. I'm not. You need to drink water right now.
Done and done, my friend.
Thank you.
Now, that being said, now that we've all hydrated and felt good about that, appreciate the reminder to do so since we've been just watching the action here throughout. SabreWolf doing his thing, putting in work. This is always a stressful fight, I think. Just the whole thing going into it. The music kicks in, unless you're doing the random music. You're dealing with that. There's a whole bunch of things you have to kind of deal with. It's a very complicated fight. I think this is one of the first things that you really have to master to kind of complete Seeds and kind of deal with and prepare for it. Then you know what to look for while you're out collecting things and learning the magics and having things out there. But in a seed like this, though, you don't have black magic, you don't have gray magic, so your options are kind of limited.
And I would agree with that. I know that personally, when I play the vanilla game, I am always like super over leveled. I didn't know what tiers did. I didn't care because I just cast Ultima on everything. With Worlds Collide, you can't really do that. I mean, like you can grind to level 70 if you want to. The problem is that if you do that, you're gonna lose every single raid.
Very fair.
So, like, you have to learn all these tricks. You have to actually pay attention to, like, elemental absorption on your side. You've gotta you gotta know what's vulnerable to what.
Oh, that was one step forward, 2 steps back. Yeah, the Pearl proc on Girl like that. I mean, that's the problem using Illumina there. But I was gonna say earlier as well, and I completely agree with you there, Gar. Is that, Ultima is basically just the press to win button. But with that being removed from the base flag sets, it really opens up and changes the game with how you approach things. And, you learn how to piece together those builds and strats with the things that you have. That's the rewarding part that I've talked about before with this, is like when you learn how to do that and things come together and you see that, it's a very, very exceptional feeling with this that I have not really had with other randomizers because of how deep this one goes. And it's what keeps me coming back, hands down.
It's always good to have you here, Metro. So stick around, please.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, double calmness there. I'm going to call that up both on Terra. Golem going down and then Terra just like, hey, I got this, and blocking the second one. They're very, very nice.
Yeah, sometimes with double calmness, it's not terribly often. I mean, as far as I know, it's just a 25% chance per character. So, what is that, 12.5% that it hits the same one?
Yep, exactly.
So,
and he doesn't always even use, double calmness. So
yeah,
just all around bad rolls for that, but to see. But anyway, here we are at Kefka. We're at 154 on the timer, so definitely sub 2 in play. We have the offensive ability for it. We see already, starting things off fresh here. That's a nice triple jump.
Triple jump, there you go. So 12K, just right off the rip.
Oh, and we're cracking shields? Is that what we're doing, maybe? I don't know. I saw a Thunder Shield go out there. Got a Valiant Knife strats.
And there's that Flame Shield, too. So cracking the Elemental Shields will cast a max rolled Tier 3 version of that spell. So cracking a Flame Shield casts Fire 3, and that Thunder Shield there is going to cast Bolt 3.
Oh, here comes a Hyperdrive. Oof. 3.5k to the face when he only had 1 HP left, unfortunately. That's where you kind of want Locke to be with a VK with that Fallen 1. You're actually getting a bit of a hand from that. We had 2 people in the air, so Fallen 1 only hit 2 of them.
So it's worth noting that he will only counter with Hyperdrive once he's in Goner territory. So you might see him here in a little bit. That screen will shake, the head will come up. There it is. The end comes Beyond Chaos. And now's the time that you can hit him without fear of counters.
And we mentioned counters before. Havoc Wing, one of the strongest, if not the strongest, physical single target attack in the game. And then you have Goner, which he's charging up, which is also physical based, I believe. But it can be defended against. And there's Crack Boom. It is done for SabreWolf.
And GG's to SabreWolf. So Goner, it is not a physical attack. It is magic. The difference between that and Ultima is that Goner will respect magic defense, and Ultima will not. But that doesn't matter. We've got SabreWolf here in the chat. SabreWolf, GG's to you.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Doing great. So, tell me how that seed went. Tell me how you felt about it.
Okay, first of all, Poombaba Ultima, where the heck did that come from?
that's on us. We were talking that he skipped leg day.
Oh, so that was a caster curse on that one. I see how it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Medes, that was the W whatever, like in chat when I did. That's what happened.
Yeah, fantastic.
That was
Poltergeist?
That was bad. That was a really, really, really bad run from me. Too many dead checks, unlike my earlier runs. I got Kefka a lot later than I was anticipating. Statues, I did not have as good offense as I usually did when I practiced for the statues. I almost decided to reset out Kefka's tower, but then I knew I would have lost my skip. So, I mean, the only thing I could think of is if I should have done Kefka's tower on a full group and then gone back and did a 2-0-2 run. To go back in, but in any case, like versus the times already in the lounge, I am way behind. So that was the lousy run for me, unfortunately.
Just unfortunate you kind of got stuck there, and that Poltergeist was using that singular Murton healing for 4.4k at a shot, so trying to get ahead of it, and just that you weren't getting those triple and quad jump procs at that point. So just I mean, a rough thing to deal with overall, but glad to see that you were able to make it through. But aside from those two kind of stumbling points there that we had, I mean, how did you feel about the seed otherwise? You're obviously getting pretty good loot and kind of following it. We felt pretty bad that you had like a string of dead checks, though, in the middle of it.
Yeah, I had the dead checks early on, which, you know, kind of helped with the level disparity between me and the bosses and everything, which was fine. But I wanted to be further ahead than I wanted to be at that point, and don't know if I overlooted or not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I felt okay with that. I didn't find any heavy shields. I would have gotten more Illuminas. Don't know if Medes found that too. Hard heavy shields for Illuminas in Coliseum.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. We saw both of you.
Yeah. I didn't find where the other heavy shields were, but I was like, whatever. I didn't need that many Illuminas anyways. But overall, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I guess I tried something different this time with my runs than I usually do. Usually I focus on the triple checks like Magitech Facility, Floating Continent, stuff like that. This time around, I went for a more targeted preview of bosses and bosses that I knew were really, really weak, like Leader into Tunnel Armor into Welk, like stuff like that. Figuring that if I fight like easier bosses that don't really hit that hard or have that many good skills, that will be a faster route than going to some of these other ones where I have to fight like Atma Weapon or floating or Air Force and stuff like that. And I figured that maybe that was a better route to go, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. Try something different.
How much do vanilla bosses influence your routing decisions? Like, do you do checks specifically because you know that a certain boss is going to be at a certain place?
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, like I was just saying. Like, yeah, I knew where Tunnel Armor, Welk, and Leader were going to be, so I know those are going to be easy fights and early on. So those are the bosses I targeted early to get some good levels in that way before like starting into the rest of the seed, and also routing in the 2 dragons in there. Also kind of helped. I know Yeti wasn't a big deal either. I mean, Tritoch and the Three Stooges were the only tough bosses on my pre-planned route I was gonna do. But I think overall I think it was okay. I just didn't get lucky in my my rewards. I guess I ended up with like 8 characters and 5 espers at one point.
Yeah,
And I think that's what did me in the long run, is that I just did not find the espers.
you did run into a substantial number of dead checks, so that was something that me and Retro both noted. So
yeah, and I tried to make up for it by doing a dream, which I got 2 espers, but that was an 8th character. So I was like, okay, well, I got something out of that, and I just went to peak checks like Phantom Train and Cave of the Velt and what's another one that's a peakable like Zozo, like regular the balance Zozo and Pumbaba check, stuff like that, and just go previewing the checks like, okay, that, whether or not I know if it's an Esper, if it's not okay, I can just bail out, don't have to worry about the fight or anything, and just keep moving on. At one point, I was thinking about doing Auction House, but I was like, I do not have the Zelfar luck in me when I do Auction House.
Well, guess what, my friend? You don't have to go do that because there was nothing there.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad I didn't even bother with it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I was happy overall. I mean, it sucks that like the Falling House was a dead check too, because that was really
deal.
Yeah, I got an Illumina and I got the Offering, which helps my VK, which I'm not usually a VK player. This time I went with it because I just could not get Atma Weapon going. But I mean, maybe I could have switched to Atma in the end with the Paladin Shield and all, like put that on lock instead. But I just kind of went with VK just for a change, just try something new.
Sure, and that's something that you can do with Worlds Collide. That's very exciting. But any final words before we wrap up for the evening here, Saber?
Nope. I just want to give a shout out and thank you to SpeedGaming and having hosting us every Wednesday here at 8 p.m. If you want to check out Worlds Collide, it's a great community. ff6worldscollide.com /Discord on the end of that. If you want to join our Discord and go into the beginners lounge. If you ask a question on our Discord, it will be answered in like 5 minutes. It's a very active community, very helpful community, and they will break it down to the smallest pixel for you if you really need it. So check it out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the race. These events do not happen without our racers, so thanks very much to SabreWolf and to Medes for giving us a wonderful showcase of Worlds Collide this evening.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us here, folks. Thank you very much. Again, folks, please be sure to follow our runners here, SabreWolf Gaming, as well as medes24. Thank you very much for that. Great to see this here. Thanks for everyone that came out here to hang out here on Speed Gaming to watch the weekly showcase race. Blackjack Battle Royale, keep yourselves a prize for that. Hop on the Discord. You're going to want to see how this one shakes out. I'm Retrofile TV here, joined with Gar in the booth. It was an absolute pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for everything.
Thanks, Retro. And thanks, everybody, for watching. And thanks, Speed Gaming, for hosting us. That's all we've got for you. Have a great evening.
We'll see you soon, guys. Thanks.